What makes a military unit truly deadly? Is it skill, discipline, fearlessness, or is it the ability to change the course of history through sheer force? Throughout history, countless armies have marched across battlefields. Most have been forgotten, but a select few became legendary. These were the military units that enemies feared long before the battle even began. The sight of their banners could shatter morale. The sound of their advance could send entire armies into retreat. Some conquered continents. Others defended empires. A few became so effective that their names are still studied centuries, or even millennia, later. Tonight, we'll explore the deadliest military units in history. From the ancient world to the modern era, these elite warriors left a trail of victories, destruction, and legends that refuse to die. These are the deadliest military units ever assembled. The Immortals, Persian Empire. Long before Rome dominated the ancient world, the Persian Empire possessed one of history's most feared military forces. They were known as the Immortals. The name alone inspired fear. According to ancient sources, this elite force consisted of exactly 10,000 soldiers. Whenever one man died, was wounded, or became unable to fight, another immediately took his place. As a result, their numbers always appeared unchanged. To outsiders, it seemed as though they could never be destroyed. Hence the name, the Immortals. They served as both elite infantry and the personal guard of Persian kings. Highly trained and well-equipped, they fought in some of antiquity's most famous battles. Their appearance was equally intimidating. They marched in perfect formation. They wore elaborate uniforms. And they carried weapons that reflected the wealth and power of the Persian Empire. For centuries, they helped Persia build one of the largest empires the world had ever seen. The Spartan hoplites. Few warriors have achieved the level of fame enjoyed by the Spartans. Sparta was not simply a city-state. It was a military society. From childhood, Spartan boys underwent one of the harshest training systems in history. Everything revolved around war. Everything revolved around discipline. The result was an army unlike any other in ancient Greece. Spartan hoplites became famous for their courage and battlefield effectiveness. They fought in tightly organized formations known as phalanxes. Each soldier protected the man beside him. The formation moved like a single organism. Breaking it was incredibly difficult. Their most famous moment came at the Battle of Thermopylae. There, a small Spartan-led force faced a massive Persian army. Although they were eventually overwhelmed, their resistance became legendary. The Spartans proved that discipline and training could sometimes outweigh numbers. Their reputation endured for thousands of years. Even today, Sparta remains synonymous with military excellence. The Roman legions. If one military force mastered warfare better than almost any other, it was the Roman legion. Rome did not conquer the Mediterranean by accident. It conquered through organization, training, discipline, and adaptability. Roman legionaries could build roads, forts, bridges, and siege works. They were not simply soldiers. They were military engineers. Their ability to construct fortified camps every night gave them enormous advantages. Legions fought across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. They defeated tribal warriors, powerful kingdoms, and rival empires. Roman commanders constantly improved tactics and equipment. When enemies adapted, Rome adapted faster. This flexibility allowed Rome to dominate for centuries. The Roman legion became one of the most successful military organizations in human history. The Mongol horse archers. In the 13th century, a storm emerged from the Eurasian steppe. Its leader was Genghis Khan. Its weapon was the Mongol army. At the heart of Mongol success stood their horse archers. These warriors combined speed, endurance, and deadly accuracy. Each warrior often traveled with multiple horses. This allowed them to cover enormous distances at incredible speed. Enemies struggled to predict their movements. The Mongols could appear suddenly, attack relentlessly, and disappear before defenders could respond. Their horse archers excelled at psychological warfare. Feigning retreat became one of their most effective tactics. Enemies believed they were winning. They pursued. Then the Mongols turned around and destroyed them. Entire empires collapsed before their advance. From China to Eastern Europe, few armies could stop them. The Mongol horse archers helped create the largest contiguous land empire in history. The Janissaries. The Ottoman Empire possessed many formidable soldiers. None were more famous than the Janissaries. Created as an elite standing army, the Janissaries became the backbone of Ottoman military power. Unlike many medieval armies, they were full-time professional soldiers. They trained constantly. They maintained strict discipline. And they mastered new military technologies. When firearms began transforming warfare, the Janissaries adapted quickly. This gave them significant advantages over opponents still relying heavily on traditional methods. For centuries, they played crucial roles in Ottoman victories across Europe, Asia, and North Africa. Their influence became so great that even Ottoman sultans sometimes feared their power. At their peak, they were among the most effective military units in the world. The Viking berserkers. Not all deadly military units relied solely on organization. Some relied on terror. Few groups inspired more fear than the Viking berserkers. According to Norse tradition, berserkers entered battle in an almost trance-like state. They fought with extreme aggression. Stories describe them as seemingly fearless. Whether every legend is true remains debated. But there is little doubt that berserkers developed a terrifying reputation. For enemies facing Viking raids, the sight of these warriors charging forward must have been horrifying. Their image became deeply embedded in Viking mythology. Over time, the word berserk entered modern language itself. Even today, it remains associated with uncontrolled ferocity. The Knights Templar. During the Crusades, one military order became famous throughout Europe and the Middle East. The Knights Templar. Originally established to protect Christian pilgrims, the Templars evolved into one of the most powerful military organizations of the medieval era. They combined religious devotion with military professionalism. Templar Knights underwent rigorous training. They maintained strict discipline. And they frequently fought against larger forces. Their distinctive white cloaks became symbols of both faith and warfare. In battle, they often served as shock troops. Their heavily armored cavalry charges could devastate enemy formations. Their reputation spread across continents. Friend and foe alike recognized them as elite warriors. The Samurai. For centuries, Japan's warrior class dominated warfare across the islands. These warriors were known as samurai. Popular culture often focuses on swords. But samurai were much more than swordsmen. They were skilled horsemen, archers, strategists, and military leaders. The samurai followed a warrior culture emphasizing loyalty, honor, and discipline. They played central roles in countless conflicts throughout Japanese history. Over time, their influence extended beyond warfare. They helped shape Japanese politics, culture, and identity. Although the age of the samurai eventually ended, their legacy remains powerful. Few military classes have left such a lasting mark on history. Napoleon's Imperial Guard. Napoleon Bonaparte commanded one of history's most successful armies. Within that army stood an elite force known as the Imperial Guard. These soldiers represented the best of the best. Membership was earned through experience and proven battlefield performance. The Guard served as both Napoleon's personal protection force and strategic reserve. When a battle reached a critical moment, the Imperial Guard often entered the fight. Their arrival could change the course of an engagement. Veterans throughout Europe respected and feared them. Their loyalty to Napoleon became legendary. Even after major defeats, many remained devoted to their emperor. The Imperial Guard symbolized the peak of Napoleonic military power. The Gurkhas. Some military units earn respect from allies and enemies alike. The Gurkhas belong firmly in that category. Originating from Nepal, Gurkha soldiers became famous for courage, toughness, and battlefield effectiveness. Their reputation developed during conflicts against the British Empire. British commanders were so impressed that they eventually recruited Gurkhas into their own forces. For generations, Gurkhas served in numerous conflicts around the world. Stories of their bravery became legendary. One of their most recognizable symbols is the curved kukri knife. But their reputation rests on much more than a weapon. It rests on a long history of military excellence. Even today, Gurkha units remain among the world's most respected soldiers. The Waffen-SS. Among the most controversial military formations in history was the Waffen-SS. During World War II, these units developed a reputation for aggressive combat effectiveness. They participated in major battles across Europe. However, their history cannot be separated from the crimes of the Nazi regime. Many Waffen-SS units were involved in atrocities and war crimes. Because of this, discussions about their battlefield performance must also acknowledge the broader context of their actions. Their combat record made them feared opponents, but their legacy remains deeply tied to some of history's darkest events. The Special Air Service, SARS. Modern warfare introduced new forms of elite military units. One of the most influential is the Special Air Service, commonly known as the SAS. Founded during World War II, the SAS specialized in unconventional operations. Small teams conducted raids behind enemy lines. They gathered intelligence, destroyed critical targets, and carried out missions that larger forces could not. Their success inspired special operations units around the world. The SAS demonstrated that a handful of highly trained soldiers could sometimes achieve results far beyond their numbers. Their influence continues to shape military strategy today. The Navy SEALs. Among modern military units, few names are as recognizable as the Navy SEALs. Developed for highly specialized missions, SEAL teams train for operations on land, at sea, and in the air. The training process is famously demanding. Only a small percentage of candidates successfully complete it. SEAL teams have participated in numerous high-profile operations. Their effectiveness depends on preparation, teamwork, and adaptability. Like many elite modern units, their greatest advantage is often not superior numbers but superior training. Their reputation has made them one of the most famous special operations forces in the world. History's deadliest military units came from different cultures, different continents, and different centuries. Some fought with spears. Others used bows. Some relied on horses. Others used firearms. Modern forces employ technologies their ancient counterparts could never imagine. Yet they all shared certain qualities: discipline, training, adaptability, and the ability to inspire fear in their enemies. These units changed battles, changed wars, and sometimes changed the course of civilization itself. Their empires rose, their enemies fell, and their legends endured. Because while weapons evolve and tactics change, one thing remains constant. The impact of truly exceptional warriors can echo through history for centuries. If you enjoyed this journey through history's most feared fighting forces, subscribe to Painful Histories for more stories about the warriors, empires, and battles that shaped our world. Because sometimes, the deadliest stories are also the most fascinating.